This is the Digital Savage Experience Podcast, hosted by Prokopchuk, bringing you all things digital marketing, tech, business, and motivation. What's stopping you from becoming relentless in all aspects of life? Are you ready to become a digital savage? Let's get into today's episode.
Hey everyone, this is Prokopchuk, and this is the Digital Savage Experience Podcast. Today I have with me Boomer Perrault, the co-founder of the organization One a Week. Thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. So tell me a little bit about your journey. Kind of where did you get started and how did you get to the 2019 you?
So, pretty much my whole life is my organization One a Week at this point, which promotes mental health and positivity through good deeds. That's at least the main portion of it. We do a few other things, but I guess you could take this back to around 2015 or 16. The years are kind of a blur at this point, but one of those years I got dumped. I was in a pretty serious relationship that ended, and I was not, I like to say, emotionally or mentally equipped or strong enough to deal with that. So I definitely went through a bit of depression for a couple months. And the one thing I found that helped me get through it more than anything, that really helped me get my mind off of the breakup, was doing good things for other people. Around this same time on the radio, I heard about a study that they were doing where they talked to a bunch of suicide survivors, and a good majority of them had said that if someone had just smiled or said hello to them the day of their attempt, they don't think they would have gone through with it, which is obviously pretty crazy. So that was a few years ago, and that always stuck in my head. I continued to do my own good deeds. And then the summer of 2017 in June, I was just driving in my car, and the whole concept of what we do with One a Week, or at least the beginning stages of it, just came to me at the snap of a finger. And what we do with it is we encourage people to perform at least one act of kindness every week and share it with us via our social media pages. And to kind of give back and just make it a little different from other pages, because there is a bunch that are just like that. We have linked up with companies to sponsor gifts that we give out to random participants. And we started this the beginning of 2018, and thus far have had almost 49. I count them all up at the end of each week, so we might be over 4,900, but around 4,900 posts shared with us in the year and about 9 months that we have been doing it.
Oh, that's awesome. I think that's really important, especially kind of the little things, because you don't know what's going on with people throughout, your day, people you run into in the grocery store or on the street. Just a simple, hello, or how are you, or a smile can really go a long way.
Yeah, exactly. And we like to have people share the posts with us online and just make them public. I know there's a lot of people who are against that, and I don't get a lot, but I definitely do get my fair share of comments, usually mocking me, encouraging people sharing deeds. And the whole purpose of performing an act, but also letting it be known, is not to, stroke your own ego. It's not about sharing it just so people know that you did something good. It's about sharing it to, one, put something positive online, since there's so much negativity, including those people who are quote unquote haters, discouraging what we encourage. But it also inspires people to do what you do. And I could speak on that from personal experience, where we have, over the past year and a half, have had multiple people reach out to us via DMs or personal message on Facebook and just thank us for sharing a deed because it inspired them to perform that one also. So it's really comes down to how you want to look at certain things in life. But specifically this, you can look at sharing a good deed in a negative light and saying, oh, you're just doing that for recognition, or the positive benefits that I just went over.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's the reason why you're sharing. A lot of people in the limelight or influencers share a lot of stuff just to get clout, you know what I mean? Social media recognition or a higher profile. And that's kind of their reason for doing it. But also, if you're sharing, you can also be encouraging others to do some of the little things or big things that you may be doing that no one, knows about. So you might as well use social media as a positive platform.
Yep, exactly. And even for those people that do these deeds, quote unquote, for the wrong reasons, when you think about it, okay, good. So someone goes and, feeds the homeless and snaps a picture and puts it online, and their only motive is, let people know I did something good. Well, you get mad at it, but then think about it. What is the negative side of that? There is nothing. At the end of the day, a good deed was still done, and it is still posted for someone to get inspired. At the end of the day, it's, in this example, it's the action, not the intent. If a good act is getting done, it doesn't really matter what the intent is, as long as the good act is still getting done. So if you ask me, there's really no way to argue that there's no bad thing that comes when you do a good deed, no matter the intention.
Yeah, I agree. So what motivates you to succeed?
There's a number of things, to be honest. Now it's just, I'm just a very competitive person, and that's with everything in life. A lot of people may just be competitive with sports or one thing or another. With me, it's everything. So once I started this and it started growing a little bit, now I'm at the point where I can't, nor do I want to stop, because I have bigger aspirations, bigger goals for what I want to achieve with one a week. So it's kind of that competitive drive and fire that just keeps me going. And it's, don't get me wrong, it's great to do good also and just better my legacy, but it's really just that competitive drive and fire that's in me that keeps me going. That's definitely the number one motivator.
Yeah, I agree. And I think everyone needs something to drive them, or eventually whatever they're working on, or, whatever their endeavor is. Whenever they get complacent and lose that fire for it, whatever the drive is, they kind of lose focus and may, stop doing that or stop that business.
Yep. It's all about having a purpose that you're passionate about. No matter where you are in life, I think that's super important. And that's something a lot of people that are dealing with like depression or something are lacking. So everybody, whether you have depression or not, just something that you are passionate about is, in my opinion, very important to have in life.
Yeah, and I think everyone is down at some point, maybe to not the level of depression, but oftentimes a lot of things come at you, really fast, a lot of good things and a lot of bad things, and you may not know how to cope with them. So, this year I lost my grandfather. I'm a foster parent. The two boys that we thought were going to adopt ended up being reunified with their biological mother. I had issues with one of my dogs, and it's just like one thing after the other, and it's kind of hard. So, a lot of people around me don't necessarily know that, but just a simple, how are you? How's your day? Sometimes really makes the difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of funny. It seems like that happens to a lot of people. Again, some people believe in like the law of attraction and just things like that, but it seems like most people, when they deal with one bad thing, that usually means a few more things are coming, as you stated in your personal experience, and that's happened to me. So it's about, from a personal aspect, just getting through it and having a passion helps, but as you said too, just being someone else that can help that person with simple things like asking how they're doing, just anything that could help them. But yeah, it's funny how that works with, if one bad thing happens, you can almost count on a few more things coming as well.
Yeah, I think they have that rule of threes, good and I guess bad things come in threes.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So what's one thing that you may have saw as a weakness in yourself in the past that you've taken and turned into a strength and utilized today?
I mean, there's been so many things over the last few years. I'm huge in just self-growth and personal development. So any weakness I've had as far as my character, I have really worked hard on turning around, but specifically something that's changed a lot from this whole process of working on one a week is definitely fear. And I used to be someone that if I feared something, I would stay away from it. And that's pretty much anything that was unknown to me. And I would have never started something like one a week. And all the branches that have come off that, like our podcast, like something we're doing with schools now. So just starting one a week over the past year and a half, I have found myself almost excited anytime I think about doing something that I'm a little nervous about. Instead of steering away from it, I just attack it. I don't even put as much thought as I probably should. I just start it. So that's definitely the biggest thing.
Yeah, I agree. I think fear is the thing that holds everybody back from doing something or taking that initial leap. And I think a lot of people, especially with this podcast, I was kind of afraid to do so for a while. And when they do start something, if they do, usually they regret not starting sooner.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, if you start it and maybe it's not as successful as you want or you don't like it, well, you could stop. And at least you tried and it didn't work out. That's much better than the thoughts and feelings of never trying it and not knowing if you would have loved it or not.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of those things that you may have regretted, or regret in the future that you never even attempted it. Even if you were successful in it or failed, you'll never know.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
So what's one piece of advice you have for the audience, either personal or professional?
I mean, just to piggyback off of what we just said, just if you have any passions or something you've wanted to try to do that helps you step out of your comfort zone, just, freaking do it. Don't think about it, because the more you think, the better the chances are that you don't actually end up doing it. Just pick something you've wanted to do that helps you get uncomfortable and just go do it. Just count to 3 and just, if it's something physical, just start walking towards it. If it's something, I don't know, in your head, just whatever it is, just don't think about it, just do it. Because the more things you do that make you uncomfortable, the more comfortable you get with being uncomfortable, which is so important for growth in life.
Yeah, I agree. And I think oftentimes when you do those things, you see that you aren't afraid of them, and they're, one of the best life experiences. Like, I'm afraid of heights, and I ended up going skydiving. And this past summer, me and my wife were in Hawaii. We went to swim with sharks also, that obviously most people aren't big fans of, but it's one of those experiences that I wouldn't trade for the world.
Yeah, it just can open so many more doors. The more you do that you're willing to do that you're kind of nervous about.
I agree. So I really appreciate you stopping by today. Can you let the audience know how they can find you or anything else you may have going on?
So as far as one a week, what I've talked about, if you want to check out our pages, or even better, share a good deed with us, maybe get a gift in return, you can find us and share those at our Instagram, which is our more popular page, which is @_1 a week. And that's the number 1. So @_1 a week. our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/1a-week-challenge. And we actually have a really cool project that we're working on right now. It's going to be this mini series where I'm taking people that need significant help in their life, and I'm doing what I can to help them. That'll be dropping in about a month and a half. So that's going to be really fun, entertaining, and full of inspiration and information. So I would definitely come by one of our pages, check out that. And then we also have our own podcast, which is a mental health podcast, Unapologetically Me. A mental health podcast is the whole name. And we just have people on and just have discussions about mental health. So you can find that either searching that name or just in one of our social media pages, Instagram or Facebook.
Awesome. Thanks again for stopping by.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Hey everyone, this is Roman Prokopchuk from Roman Prokopchuk's Digital Savage Experience Podcast. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free, so that's always good. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
This podcast has been brought to you by Nova Zora Digital. Find out how Nova Zora Digital can help your company grow online. Learn more at novazoradigital.com. Until next time, all you digital savages.